Welcome to Africa 54. Here's what's coming up. The Republican presidential nominee and former U.S. President Donald Trump addressed the Republican National Convention Thursday, his first public speech since he became the target of an assassination attempt last Saturday. A young inventor in the town of Woodford, South Africa, KwaZulu-Natal province, uses recycled materials to build a car and other robotics. Tembelani Zondo hopes to make a difference with his innovations. And in our entertainment report, Moroccans Bilal, Mallakh and Fatima Zahra speak to Heather Maxwell ahead of the Olympic Games in Paris. All this and much more coming up on today's Africa 54. We begin our broadcast with the Republican National Convention that ended Thursday night with a speech by the party's official presidential nominee, former President Donald Trump. He had been in the audience watching the convention all week, but Thursday was his first public speech since he was the target of an assassination attempt last Saturday. VOA senior national Washington correspondent Caroline Presutti brings us the sights and sounds from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States.
Conventions always save their best for last. But here, even higher anticipation for the speech by the former president, given what happened 5 days ago. Donald Trump began his speech softer, subdued, and reflective about the pain he felt at Saturday's rally.
Wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood.
During the convention week, this photo reminded delegates daily of their candidate, strong, resilient, not stopped by an assassin's bullet. He promised that strength to extend overseas. Trump said neither the war in Ukraine nor the Israel-Hamas conflict would have happened on his watch.
A growing specter of conflict hangs over Taiwan, Korea, the Philippines, and all of Asia, and our planet is teetering on the edge of World War III, and this will be a war like no other war because of weaponry.
He wrote his speech weeks prior, but now obvious changes, much more religious, given how close he came to death.
I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God.
A convicted felon with 34 counts against him, Trump accused the Biden administration of weaponizing the justice system, creating high inflation, and opening the border to drugs and criminals.
We want people to come into our country, but they have to come into our country legally. The next Vice President of the United States.
In the presidential box was Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, selected this week as the former president's running mate. Also, Trump's wife, Melania Trump, her first time appearing at the convention.
On this journey, I am deeply honored to be joined by my amazing wife, Melania.
Political analysts see a Republican Party with a new inclusion message.
Look how diverse we are in some ways. Look how friendly we are in some ways. Look how chaotic the Democrats are. Look how unified and together we are. And we're a safer bet.
Trump did not deliver a strong message of unity, as analysts expected, but some delegates felt it.
Everyone's coming together, and, we are the party of the people.
We are so excited for this movement, for a red wave, and to get Donald Trump and J.D. Vance elected to the White House this year.
From here, the Trump-Vance ticket takes its message well beyond these delegates to middle America as they crisscross the country. Caroline Presutti, VOA News at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
For more on former President Donald Trump's speech at the Republican National Convention, I'm joined live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin by VOA's reporter Carol Van Dam. Carol, what seemed to resonate more with Republicans from Trump's speech last night?
Well, of course, as you heard from that piece with my colleague Carolyn, a lot of it was about, the delegates saying that they were completely in sync with Donald Trump's speech, but also they were very moved. You could tell it was a very emotional scene when he was describing what happened on Saturday at that Pennsylvania rally. It got very quiet on the convention floor. Some people were crossing their chests and listening, and like some were holding their hands like in prayer. And even Donald Trump himself kind of, it was by almighty God's grace, he felt that he was spared. At one point he even said, I wasn't supposed to be here tonight, to which they all started chanting, the whole floor started chanting, yes, you are, yes, you are. So that was very moving. And he spent a good 15 minutes talking about what happened in Pennsylvania. But then he moved on, and you could just tell that he was digressing from his speech and ad-libbing and kind of dropping back down into that negative rhetoric that he had done on the stump speech before, and calling out the Justice Department to end what he called the witch hunt on him. He's got these 34 convictions, felony convictions. He's saying they should drop that kind of thing and spend their time on strengthening America. He also spent a good deal of time talking about immigration and saying under the Biden administration, tens of thousands of illegal immigrants are flowing into this country, taking jobs away from Americans, and also criminals coming into this country. If you hear some of this noise, by the way, in the background, it's the tearing down of the whole convention center, which just wrapped up, of course, last night.
Carol, just to get back to you on that, what are you learning from analysts regarding, Trump's brush with death, and whether that has actually drawn more supporters for him as the presidential nominee for the Republican Party?
Esther, you don't even have to talk to analysts to know that his numbers have skyrocketed since that happened. Before that happened, all Republicans were not in lockstep behind Donald Trump. They had their other favorites, including Nikki Haley, who, by the way, didn't give up her delegates for a whole 2 months after she dropped out of the Republican primary. So it wasn't a sealed deal. But now, unity is the name of the game with the Republican Party. They are completely behind Donald Trump, partly out of sympathy, but also they believe that he is their candidate and he is the one that's going to win in November. They believe.
Hi, Carol. Thank you very much for your reporting. VOA's Carol Van Dam, live for us from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The former president, known best for his bombast and aggressive rhetoric, began his acceptance speech with a softer and profoundly personal message that drew directly from his brush with death. For more insight, VOA's Paul Ndiho spoke to Dr. Yetunde Odubisan Omede, the director of the Center Office of Community and Civic Engagement and professor of Global Affairs and Politics at the State University of New York, Farmingdale State College.
Right now, where we are in the United States, is a very critical time. I mean, we have all just witnessed and have seen an attempted assassination on President Trump, right? And him really coming off the heels of such a, I would say, a traumatic ordeal, right? And now we're in the Republican convention, right? So we're dealing with two very serious things, right? And one very serious thing, and now moving on to, look, the political campaigning, right? Of the president of the United States. And what I see is that when we are analyzing both parties, right, of course, Trump's base is very galvanized, right? They are supportive of him. They are supportive of his policies. They are supportive of his rhetoric and his traditions and what he believes. And he has been able to hold that influence and hold that leadership and stewardship over those who want him to be the next president of the United States. And you see that rallying and you see that support even more now, given in light of what had just, we've experienced, where we don't want to see that happen to any U.S. president. And with the vice presidential pick of President Trump, who was a fairly young man, under 40, right? So when we talk about politics and the age of entry into politics and how long many politicians have been in power, right? It's a global thing. We see that age is way beyond 40. So that also shows something.
Leading into this Republican National Convention, there were a lot of people who are very skeptical about Trump's presidency going forward. After the attempted assassination on his life, I think everything changed in the direction of President Trump winning this election. You've studied this subject very closely. How do you see this play out?
Trump is, he's a big personality, right? He has been able to, despite how we have been able to look at many of the things that are leveled against him, he continues to move and continues to go forward and continues to go forward. And I think people are questioning, how does he continue to go forward with all of the things that he has faced? How is it even possible? And I think that's where people are questioning that. And because a lot of the rhetoric from the media has been about him, it hasn't been about necessarily what the next 4 years is going to be like. What are the policies that are going to be implemented? What are the critique of many of the policies? Everything is shrouded by the personality from President Trump, right? There are people who really want to know, what is the next 4 years going to look like for me? How is the economy going to be? What does education look like? What are some of the policies that are going to affect labor laws or immigration laws? We need to focus on that. What is it going to look like for the American people in the next 4 years? Not necessarily what this individual has said and what he has, what his behavior or his mechanism has been, but what are the real policies? We need to get back to that. And I think trying to step out of the divisiveness and really get to the crux of the matter is what a lot of people are looking for.
Odubesan Omede, Professor of Global Affairs and Politics at the State University of New York, Farmingdale State College, speaking to VOA's Bondiho. A temporary outage disrupted computer internet access worldwide Friday, leaving billions of lives impacted. VOA's Anthony Labruto spoke to Christopher Painter, an associate fellow at the International Security Program for Chatham House, for a look into what caused this global outage and what is being done to fix it.
Well, it's interesting. It appears to have been a computer security software update of a company called CrowdStrike. Microsoft pushed out the update as part of its system, but it was updating this computer security software, and there was a glitch in the code in the update that then caused all these computers to crash, really all over the world and across many sectors, because this software was used in so many computers in so many areas, mostly, I think, all Windows computers, but a lot of people use Windows, so it had a major effect. And stock markets have been hit, others have been hit, and obviously that's significant. More serious to me is hospitals being hit. And it causing problems for them, or in the U.S., but also around the world, 911 emergency response systems being hit. I mean, that has a real health and safety impact, which is really concerning.
And do we anticipate it was just as you said, kind of just going in manually resetting everything? Is this just kind of the speed of the workers?
I think, unfortunately, at least according to the company, CrowdStrike put out their fix. They said this is not something that can be automatic. It's going to require manual resets. Look, it depends on the staff you have and the time they have. Obviously, this is going to be a priority for everyone. I'd be surprised if it's not. They're not going to go out and get lunch before they do this. But at the same time, it will take some time. So I think there'll be somewhat of a knock-on effect for the next few days, which is unfortunate.
Christopher Painter, an associate fellow at the International Security Program for Chatham House, speaking to VOA's Anthony Labruto. Tembelani Zondo, a young inventor in the town of Woodford, South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province, uses recycled materials to build a car and other robotics. Zondo has big dreams and says he hopes to one day get the opportunity to make a difference with his talent. Reporter Isan Hafiji has this story from the town of Woodford, South Africa.
22-year-old Tembelani Zondo has made a name for himself in his community for creating all sorts of interesting inventions with limited resources. The young inventor is not letting his circumstances hold him back. He says he believes he has been given a talent that he can use to change people's lives.
I can create everything, anything at any time. Since I was young, I was creating things. It's a God-given talent.
Thembelani made local headlines when he unveiled a car he built from scratch. Bugatti, a European luxury brand which can cost millions of dollars, is Thembelani's favorite car maker. He would never be able to afford a real one, so he decided to build his own model using repurposed materials.
What inspires me is, first of all, I love cars too much. So it is the reason that I decided to create one of them. I created the Bugatti Shark because that car is my best car. It is the brand that I like.
Thembelani lives in a modest house with his mother and 7 other siblings, with the family surviving on government assistance. Thembelani dropped out of school in the 11th grade, saying he struggled to concentrate in class. He has been unemployed since. Materials for his inventions are hard to access, and he often uses recycled materials in his community. With no formal training in mechanics, Thembelani has now shifted his focus to robotics. He is working on a few new inventions, including a robotic arm which he hopes can one day assist people with disabilities.
All my robotic stuff, I wish to help people with disabilities, as I created the hand robot for people who lost their hands, because there are so many accidents in our daily basis. So I'm willing to help them.
Although he has only publicized his inventions on social media, Thembelani's talent and hard work has unfortunately not led to any concrete opportunities from either the government or the private sector. South Africa's unemployment rate among young people aged 15 to 34 years is 45.5%, according to the country's national data. Thembelani is one of them, struggling to hold down a steady job.
I feel very, very sad. I wish to find someone who will help me with, maybe who can fund me with money so that I can maybe start maybe small company, something like that, workshop, so that I can create good project.
Lack of opportunities continues to be a source of frustration for young people, but Thembelani says he is determined to overcome his circumstances and achieve his dreams. Ehsan Hafaji, VOA Africa, Woodford, South Africa.
We'd like to hear what you think about Africa 54 and all our VOA Africa programs on our website at voaafrica.com. Still to come in our entertainment report, Moroccans Bilal, Mallakh and Fatima Zahra speak to Heather Maxwell in advance of the Olympic Games in Paris. We'll be right back.
The lack of access to menstrual hygiene products due to high cost has had a major impact on millions of women and girls. But despite these challenges, things are changing, making it possible for girls to go to school and women remain employed. On the next episode of Our Voices, we'll take a closer look at initiatives that have been launched in sub-Saharan African countries to promote greater access to sanitary pads and their implications for the future of women and girls. Join the conversation each week right here on Our Voices.
watching VOA's Red Carpet. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. Thank you so much for joining us each week right here on Red Carpet. We bring you the latest in
In other news, a World Food Programme official says a key supply route into Sudan's Darfur region deemed at risk of famine by experts has been cut off due to heavy rains. WFP's country director Eddie Rowe told Reuters thousands of tons of aid are stranded at the Tina crossing on the Chad border, prompting the body to reopen talks with the army-aligned government to open an alternative all-weather crossing further south in Adre. Kenyan President William Ruto on Friday mostly named holdovers from the cabinet he sacked last week to a new government meant to respond to the grievances of young protesters. In a televised address, Ruto announced 11 appointments, 6 from the previous cabinet, with others to follow soon. It's time for Entertainment Report, and joining us now is Heather Maxwell, host of VOA's Music Time in Africa radio program. Hello, Heather.
Hello, Esther. Hello, everyone. Break dancing is a highly energetic dance style that originated in New York City in the late 60s and early 70s within hip-hop music and cultural communities. It incorporates moves from a variety of sources, including martial arts, gymnastics, and improvisation. Today, of course, it's practiced worldwide, and it debuts as a sport in this summer's Olympic Games in Paris. 2 African breakers are competing, a B-boy and a B-girl, and I caught up with them earlier this week to see how they're feeling.
Hello, my name is Fatima Elmamouny. I live in Morocco from Rabat, and I'm 24 years old, and I do breaking. I started breaking in 2015, and it was just by coincidence. I met some friends from my high school, and they said, if you want to join us to do breaking, and I was, okay, let's do it. And this is how I started. When I went to see what's breaking, I saw that there is no girls, and this makes me like wants to really like do it and show the people that even girls can do breaking, and this is what makes me motivated to continue and really do it.
What is the most fun aspect of breaking?
For me, I guess the most fun part about it, it's like the enjoyment, the dance. Like when I dance, I really like enjoy it. So this is like the most fun part about it.
How do you feel about representing Morocco as a B-girl in the 2024 Olympics?
I cannot describe how much, like how happy I am, like to represent my country and to represent Morocco, especially like when I got qualified, like for the first B-girl to be qualified in breaking. It's really an honor for me, like to represent my country for the first time in the Olympics, and to show the world that there is B-girls in Morocco, in like Africa, in global.
What would it mean to you to take home the gold?
Oh my God, I don't know how to describe it too, because just like in the African Championship when I won the medal, like gold medal, I cannot describe how happy I was, and my parents too, and my family. So I cannot imagine like if I won the gold medal in the Olympics, everyone gonna get crazy.
My name is Bilal Mallakh, and my nickname for breakdance is Billy. For now, it's the last moment before the Olympics. When I started breakdance, I was 14, and now I'm 20. I started breakdance because of my older brother. He was doing breakdance before me. So after he traveled from Morocco, then I started doing breakdance. Like, I like to do this, like, for real. I'm from a city, it's a small city. It calls Khouribga. It's close to Casablanca, if you know Casablanca in Morocco. So it's a good city, and at the same time it's small. So that's what got me like keep doing breakdance and focusing on breakdance, because there's not a lot of things to do.
How do you feel about representing Morocco as a b-boy at the 2024 Olympics?
In our culture, there's no breakdance. So not a lot of people can understand breakdance. They just started seeing breakdance and things. So the first thing that I'm going to represent my culture, breakdance, for Morocco, so they can know breakdance. What is it, breakdance? The second thing, I'm going to represent my country in the Olympics.
How do you feel about the Moroccan B-girls that are also representing and competing at the Olympics?
It's a good thing to see B-girls. When you see a B-girl fighting and wanting to be good in the Olympics and represent Morocco and represent breakdance, it's not easy. So I'm so happy about this. And I wish we can see more B-girls and more B-boys in Morocco.
What will it mean to you to take home the gold?
If I get the medal, the gold medal, I'm gonna be proud of myself. I'm gonna be proud because I did breakdance in a place where there's no breakdance and there's no knowledge of breakdance. So from nothing to everything. Yeah, so I'm gonna be happy, so happy about this, and proud in the same time, proud of myself.
So the breaking competitions run on August 9th and 10th. So be sure to tune in so you can follow and root for Billy and Elmamouny, or whoever is your favorite B-girl or B-boy. And that's it for me this week. Back to you, Esther.
Heather, not so fast. Tell me what really inspires these young people to get into breakdance, and of course they are representing not only Morocco but the continent of Africa.
You know, just basically, Esther, what they said, that for different reasons, they fell into this break dancing, and it's really quite unknown in Morocco. So both of them are really excited about doing it and competing and being at the Olympics, and also representing Morocco and showing Moroccans themselves how exciting and wonderful breakdancing is. Now, I know this a little bit because I have tried my hand at breakdancing.
Well, we'll try after the show. Heather, thank you. Thank you so much, Heather. Be sure to join Heather Maxwell's Entertainment Report every Friday right here on Africa 54. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, have a great weekend.